For years, volunteer stewards have been checking in on Alberta's protected areas, sending their concerns to the government of Alberta through a formal volunteer steward program.
So we have 3 generations of stewards, yes. Push that one off.
The government would recruit stewards and recognize their efforts. But stewards say the province has stopped doing that. I wanted to find out what's happening and what stewards have been doing in the meantime.
So I have something very special to show you.
Of all the natural areas Frank Potter has visited in his spare time, this one is in the worst shape.
One of the challenges of having the road access and with the ATVs is, of course, people can do this. And rather than taking it to the local dump, they can leave it here.
Turns out the natural area is not so natural these days.
With the ATVs and the isolation, people said, great place to set up an impromptu shooting range. That was the role of the stewardship program, not to enforce, but at least to say, we have a problem here.
Back at his truck, Frank shows me the litter he collected earlier that day.
Oh my.
This is what we pulled out in just 4 square feet.
Frank is on a mission to revive environmental stewardship in Alberta. He's part of an organization that formed years ago to represent government-enrolled stewards. Now, he and other members are reimagining stewardship, starting by moving inspection reports online.
We're recognizing the government program, for all intents and purposes, although it hasn't been officially killed, has been a zombie for a long time. It's time for us to do what we can as citizen stewards.
I should move that one off just a little bit.
Richard and Vera Desmet were the first people to sign up for the government's volunteer steward program back in 1987.
There we go.
They used to look after multiple areas and for years attended annual volunteer conferences where they met other passionate volunteers.
It was very satisfying. That's the only word I can use. It was good to meet with people that had the same feeling about nature as we did.
So those 2 on the post should come down.
They still consider themselves active stewards. They've received replacement signs from the government, and through the Rainbow Equitation Society, they're nurturing a network of people to keep caring for the land they love. Closer to Edmonton, a new sign asks people visiting Big Lake to submit their observations.
If you have a cell phone on you, you basically just image the QR code and it will take you to our form. That is actually fairly simple.
The Big Lake Environment Support Society collects the entries and passes issues along to authorities.
It's a nice test to see whether or not we'll get the buy-in from the people to be able to take care of what is really a diamond in the province of Alberta.
Stewards say the government hired a research institute to review the program and survey volunteers a few years ago, but they never learned what came of that. Through a Freedom of Information request, I learned that the majority of stewards surveyed wanted to continue their work, but felt the government did not value their contributions. The documents show the institute recommended renewing the program with a focus on citizen science. The government says it's working to reestablish and modernize the stewardship program, but hasn't shared a timeline. Until then, stewards say they'll keep up their work.
As individuals, as citizens, we're accountable and responsible for our behavior. This is the commons. We can't overconsume the commons, otherwise it simply won't be there.
And they say they'll do so with or without the government's guidance. Madeline Cummings, CBC News, Thorhild County, Alberta.